Hi, I'm Dylan. Welcome to my channel. So what's going to happen is today I'm going to go through the second roll I've shared to my Patreon this month. Starting in September, I will be uploading to Ko-fi and Patreon. What I had been doing in the past is I would shoot a video and edit it the same day of one photo. And I started to find that the story around it was important, and I didn't feel like repeating that for every video. While some photos are not strong, I'll talk about why it isn't. We'll just have fun with this. I think I'm just going to be a photographer who talks about the photos I take. And hopefully if you like it, you'll want to buy some prints or support me. Anyways, here we go. Why was I in this place? Because it's also a choice to even load a camera with film. I try out a lot of different film stocks and try to figure out what I like. So cut to a couple days before Easter, and I get a text from my friend Paul, whose band name he goes by Angel of Discord, and then his partner, Kelsey, who also is a musician, Wormwomb. I get a text saying, Angel of Discord has been asked to perform piano at Symes Hot Springs for Easter Sunday breakfast. And they invited me out to the hot springs to soak and hang out and have breakfast the next day. And so getting this spontaneous message was really just amazing. They're like, we'll get a room for you, just let me know. And the only thing I had to pay for was gas to get there. So I get there, they were getting ready, and they're like, oh, let's go get some dinner. And we went to this local bar. They had their friend with them who I had not met before, and I cannot recall his name right now. I wanted to shoot, and I wanted to load something. To me, I thought like, oh, that looks scrumptious. I'd love some. But that would just make me sick. Let me take a photo of it so that at least I could enjoy the image. I always try to roll the film with as little slack as possible so that I can squeeze an additional shot or two. So pretty often I get my 36 rolled back and I have like 36 to 39 photos on the roll, which is great, but a feature with the FE2 is it does not meter when you're doing those first couple advances, and I don't have an external light meter at this time. It's kind of a shot in the dark, literally, about what settings I'm going to use. So when you're looking at this photo, I know I'm talking about like a photo that isn't necessarily good, but I want to like talk about why a photo might not look good, because it's a learning lesson to me, and maybe it's a learning lesson to whoever watches. So yeah, this photo wasn't metered, and it was a very dimly lit bar, and I think at 400 speed indoors, it's not good. Like, I had to use a slow shutter speed if I wanted that to be exposed well, but I was handheld. I did not take that handheld. I set it on top of my camera bag to balance it so I could take it at a slower shutter speed, but I was still guessing what the shutter speed was since I didn't have the light meter. I mean, you can see the glisten of the oil. I mean, while I said it looks good, what I mean is I think it has it's been manufactured to be addicting. It's manufactured to feel good when you eat it, and then nowhere else. It is not energy. That's not energy. This grayness to it. What caused that? That's interesting. Let me take a closer look here. Yep, that's pizza. Anyways, next photo. It's not the best way to photograph it, but let me tell you something. When I took this photo, I don't have a little tripod. I really should get a strong little tripod for my camera, but I don't have one right now. And so what I think I did is I propped this up on my camera bag with like other lenses angled up, because this is the view above the bar, and I really wanted to capture it, and I didn't want it to be blurry or underexposed. I'm sure y'all photographers out there are aware of this tool, but for those who don't, I don't know what this is called. Basically, this part screws into the shutter button, and then this just lets you take the photo from far away. So you hit the button and it pushes the shutter. So basically when you're doing low shutter speed photos, you don't move the camera. I just use it anytime it's on sticks or it's not in my hands. Just thought I'd share some knowledge. Knowledge time. Next photo, photo 3. Very similar photo. I took a backup photo of the last one. I was like, I really like this photo wall. I want to make sure I have it. So something I've realized with double exposure is for most film, unless you're shooting slide film, each stop can handle 2 exposures. So while it's recommended, people are like, oh, you're doing a double exposure, you should push. Is it push? What am I doing? You should pull. Pull yours. Am I pulling? It's -1. I'm putting it on -1. I think it would be pushing, so I would be putting less light on the image so I wouldn't blow out the image. People say like, oh, pull it 1 stop for double exposure and set it back. And I have learned that I don't have to do that. I remember telling Paul, so that's Paul, and also it looks like his eye is blending with a George Washington head, and it looks kind of cool, honestly. It looks a little bit Terminator-esque that I'm only now realizing, because this is the longest I've looked at this photo, so I'm already loving this process. I told him I primed this for a double exposure. What that means, more light? I have no idea. I did something that... Hi, it's me. What I'm trying to explain here is that I was concerned that the image was going to be too dark to be seen, knowing that I could fit 2 exposures onto 1 stop. In my attempt to save the photo in case it doesn't come out, I told Paul, we can get another exposure on here, and that could be cool. It was my way to save the photo in case the last one didn't turn out. I posed Paul in this shot right where that spotlight was hitting. I think I posed Paul in the shade against a neutral background. I was looking for a neutral background, but I was not looking at the light on him. So if I wanted him to be on this wall, I probably could have put the spotlight in the left third and put Paul in the right third to balance out the image a bit and then have more of Paul pop through. But the spotlight and Paul, it literally looks... Actually, now that I'm looking at it, almost looks like the spotlight. Like if you look at the top of his dome and the spotlight, it almost looks like a projection, and then his face fills it. I'm gonna go on to this next photo. I think it would make a good postcard. I like the balance of it. I've talked about the painting of the sign in the previous video. This is something you could see in like a mom and pop diner. I like how the flag is kind of like cornering the tree. Like that tree is framed by the flag. It's not crossing over. There's just a nice balance to it. Also, even like the telephone wires going in the upper corner don't really bother me that much because it kind of just feels self-contained. If anything is bothering me about this photo, it's nothing. This is the photo I highlighted yesterday, so I won't spend too much time. Though I will say, when I highlighted it yesterday, I talked more about another photograph and then did not show that other photograph. I'll put that other photo up here, because I'm not highlighting this photo again, so now you're gonna have to watch this to get exclusive content. Thinking back, it's not a good review, because I'm not talking about the photo. And I will use that photo, it's just, I don't think I took this photo with the intention of it being to replace the other skull photo. This was outside of a bar, so we had gone from eating to the bar to here, and as you can tell, because we're going through the whole roll, everything I'm about to show you is all what it was sequentially shot as. Everything is happening as time happened. So this one, I still wasn't feeling fully comfortable, so I was just like looking for something to photograph, and this was outside the bar, so they went inside, and then outside the bar was this skull hanging. This is Paul and Kelsey. This is the first photo you're seeing of the people who invited me. And I had never been to this place before, and what a funky place it is. I really hope it never gets gentrified, because it should continue to exist exactly as it is. I mean, some of the facilities maybe to fix up, but I mean like local owners. So this one, the sky is too blown out for me. Something I want for my camera that I've wanted for a while is, it's called a graduated ND filter, which means it has to have attended some kind of school system. But what it really is I think about a stop on one half and then nothing on the bottom, and it's just a slow transition. Basically, it just allows you to have the sky not overexposed if you're metering for the landscape. But I want to use one, and it would have been nice here because the sun was very beautiful, but it's blown out, so the image just doesn't really work. The framing feels off to me. I must have not seen that middle pipe. Another one where the sky is overblown. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. There's that sign. What do we got here? Okay, let me go ahead a little bit. This was supposed to be a photograph at the hot spring. I wanted there to be a long exposure of us soaking in the hot tub, and I put the camera on a bench and then did a long exposure. My viewfinder on this camera is right back here. All those cool photographers online who make the cool, like, aesthetic videos, I enjoy them. They all have removable prisms where you can look straight down into it and film really easy. And that doesn't exist on this. This you have to look through the backside. The bench was against the wall, meaning that I could not look through the viewfinder, so I hoped I was wide enough to get it. And looking at it, maybe the bottom right was somebody's arm on the ledge, but I'm not sure. I bet the top of it is a light shining down onto the hot tub, but it looks like I missed everything and it's out of focus. So this is just a mistake, and mistakes are okay. I hope that's something you can gather from this. I don't feel like I need to present myself as a perfect operating business. Anyways, next photo. Kelsey's response to this image was,
wow, I love this photo for multiple reasons. The light almost gives us, like me and Paul, a stark outline, which creates really cool juxtaposition because the lighting is actually so soft. It's super, I don't know, it's haunting because of the darkness, again, like the juxtaposition of light and dark, but it's also kind of ethereal, kind of like, it has this kind of like spooky yet kind of calming vibe at the same time. It's really cool.
So there is like multiple hot spring pools. This one is the hotter of them. It's got its own private walls up, did a long exposure, and it's just this kind of sweet photo of them together without being able to see their face, so it's a bit mysterious. If I was doing photo editing, maybe I would take the light away from the water, as it might misdirect your eyes. I feel like looking at this, my eye wants to look at the bottom of the frame and the top of the frame, whereas if those were gone, then my eyes would be drawn to the knee and the shoulder light and the headlight on Kelsey, which is what the image is. Alright, this one, while not a good photo, it was a painful one, and one I need to talk about is that I realized, okay, that light from 2 photos ago, it's not going to work. But if I put the camera on the opposite side, then everyone will be lit, and I can be dabbing. I'm going to do a timed release. You know, I didn't have that string, or I did. I don't have a long one. I couldn't be in the water, and I had to go in, and the timer on this camera is about 10 seconds. To be in the shot of the hot spring, I had to move quickly. But here's the thing. We were in the hottest pool. I got out of the water and I jumped back in to get in the photo in time, and something about that just shocked my body, and I actually think I got burnt from the hot spring doing that, because when I tried to soak the next day, I just could not get in. It was my skin hurt, and I think it was from doing this, trying to take a silly photo. So that blur in the middle is me getting in and then reacting to the pain, but also turning around to try to pose for it. The framing, again, it's not great because I couldn't see the image. This is Paul and Kelsey's favorite room at the hot springs. They both do digital art. He does his own art to promote his songs. Here they are just working on their art. Look, I think Kelsey was working on this incredible design to be a sticker, or I think it was a makeup label, but this room's special to them. But for me, objectively, again, the light on Kelsey is overexposed and I couldn't see into the viewfinder. I did look a bit to make sure that they were in the shot, but it's not like the freedom of a tripod. I feel like if I were to do this photo again, what I needed to do is meter for the fireplace and then reset, because they looked very beautiful lit by the fire, but this just looks like a bright light source on the right side and they're lit on their phones. Technical mistake, and I'm learning. You know, doctors call it a practice because they're practicing medicine. Basically, every person, every professional is always practicing. The light underneath could be a star, or this is actually a bar sign in outer space. It's orbiting near a star, but like, you know, when you go to outer space and like you want to drink, it's nice when the bar has like an arrow telling you like this planet has a bar. So that's where this photo was taken. But this next photo, you can see that it's attached to the Montana bar. It's the same bar sign as before. Now it's lit up. I really like how the light glows on the wood. I don't have too much more to say on it. I just was practicing doing the neon lighting. Okay, this is just blurry. I'm going to take a guess here and say that I looked at the guide of the settings for the neon lights, and it might have told me to change my shutter speed. This recommendation for shooting neon lights is 1/30th of a second at f4. So my guess here is that I had forgotten to change the settings when I shot the next photo. Because as you can see, even though it's blurred, the sign is exposed properly, but there's just too much motion. Which would also mean that the other two photos I took, I must have been taking it very, very still, holding it against my body. That's probably why it's blurry. Nothing really else to say. I have no idea how this happened. If somebody is watching this and they know about film, please tell me how this happened. You can see that the bar sign got flipped upside down and is on the car, and I don't know how that happened. The film doesn't get stacked on top of each other. Is it that I was looking at the neon sign for too long and it burned in? This is a camera that does not have a broken shutter curtain, so the light shouldn't pierce through. So I don't know how that happened. I wonder if the neon light was refracting weird in my lens. I don't know. Let me describe the elements I like. I like all the cowboys. The cowboy hats, the cowboy on his phone, the cowboy sitting outside the bar. I really like the glow of the street lights. Fergie's. I think that's where we got the burger earlier. I can't tell. Are those stars or dirt on my screen? It's dirt. I like those street lights. I've said what I've said. I'm on to the next photo. All right. This one... what did I do here? When I look at the photo from 2 photos ago, the blurry one, my guess is that the last photo I exposed for the cowboy, which is why the neon sign is a little, it's white. It's overexposed, but it looks nice. And I'm guessing for this photo here is that I went back to using the neon light settings. Neon signs are properly exposed, and that's all you can see, because they're not emitting that much light. But also, I don't know if I've shot neon signs before, so I didn't know what the image would look like. And honestly, looking at it, I think I prefer it with the white outline of overexposure than being exposed to the red in it. And that's just nice to know for next time. I could have looked up a guide, but I learned from practicing. So that's... So similar to what I just said, we are back at Simon's Hotel, and I wanted to take a photo of us lit by the red neon signs. It's out of focus. I don't know if I couldn't have seen it. I guess exposed correctly, but like something, I don't know how I did it, because it definitely shouldn't have been enough light to be able to do handheld. My guess is I'm shooting this to have the aperture as wide as possible, and then maybe I was focused and then they shifted. I don't know what happened, but all 3 of them are out of focus. I like this. I don't even know what to describe the emotion on Paul's face is, but makes me think of that meme photo of like the girl smiling at the camera with the house on fire in the background. If this was a photo I took of a band in like the 80s or 90s, this is one photo that you would probably see on the insert cover. It has that kind of vibe to it. And then moving forward, there it is again. This is the first photo I highlighted. Maybe if you're watching this far, you might wonder, like, why would I highlight this photo first? Of all of my photos, why would I not choose one that is the best photo to highlight? When I first saw it, I didn't like it because of all the noise in the background. There was something I liked about a sign floating in a blanket, and I found myself sitting by myself at like 6 or 7 in the morning looking at these photos, figuring out how I would defend this photo to other people. But then I'm like, why defend it? Why not just talk about it? What if I did a video where I talk about it? And now we have the context of the other photos. You could see that I am continuing to practice neon light photography here. I think what I'm learning about this is that I would want it to be a bit more overexposed. I want the lights themselves to be overexposed and then the glow to have like the red in it, like the previous photo I mentioned. Here we are. We've come full circle, but don't worry, we're still going. Ugh. Oh man, I just said that about my own photo. It's not good. It would have worked better if I had a different lens so I can compress the space a bit more and have them all on the same plane. They're just too far away and too small to all have in the same frame that it doesn't really work. Oh my god. Whew. That's just same issue with the last blurry photo. I bet I kept the 30th of a second setting and then took another photo with a 30th of a second, and I was handheld and not conscious to be super still. Post-production Dylan here. I do remember what happened. I decided for the next photo that I wanted a longer shutter speed, and at this point I still did not own a tripod for my camera, so instead, with my car parked nearby, I put my camera bag on the roof of the car and tried to balance it so I could get it into the frame. I barely could see through the viewfinder if the frame was there, and while it does have a cool glow to it, it is not framed. And that's because I could not see what the image was. Big lesson here, buy a tripod, even a cheap one. All right, go back to listening to Original Dylan. Original Dylan, Past Dylan. Past Dylan, Production Dylan. I'm gonna go now. This is the city that exists on the red stop line. Like Horton Hears a Who, but it's a traffic light. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. There's gonna be several more photos after this one that's similar to this. This is the best one. In that room with Paul and Kelsey, this is the fireplace. And I thought, like looking at it closely, that it looked almost like a doorway with these flames coming up, and I wanted to photograph that. What I like about this, the light is illuminating the top of the doorway, which is drawing your eye to it. The bottom, you know that they're flames, but they're not domineering the image. It's like, yes, there's fire, and then look at this interesting doorway. Where are we? If I didn't say we were in a fireplace, would you think I was in a fireplace? I don't know. I think it draws your eye nicely without stealing from other places, which I will talk about that happening in other photos. Alright, I don't know what happened here. Slow shutter speed, obviously. Why did I wonder if I accidentally took a photo here. Here's a difference with digital and film. I feel like digital, oh look at that, I'll take a photo, I'll take like 5 or 6, and then later on I'll look through the photos and see which one's the best one. Film, limited number of exposures, it's about $1 per photo. Here comes the third one. This is what I mean by the flame is kind of stealing your eye. That big flame kind of coming up almost like the hedge bush of Starry Night. Everything in this image is directing your eye to the right third line. And I thought the most interesting thing about these photos was the doorway. This photo just takes too much attention away from the doorway. There's not a balance. I feel like if there's a flame coming up the left side, it would have balanced it and created a shape to look inside of it. Not a great photo of the fire. I think I tried 3 photos because of the flame. I didn't know how the flame would, if the flame would cover up what I was trying to get. And it looks like I got it exactly how I wanted the first time. Alright, we're on the second to last photo. We're on the martini photo. This is a view in my bedroom. I don't think you can see a little bit of the bathtub. I think I exposed this for the, not necessarily the lamp itself, but at least the wall of the lamp. I think I did that so that I could do it handheld. The only reason I can tell the bathtub's in there is there's a little bit of the porcelain light on the rim. There's better photos of the room on the other roll. This is a birdhouse tower that was was in between the 2 hot springs, and I just really liked it. There's birds in here. There's a bird up on top. There's a bird on the wire. Lots of interesting birdhouses. I like the slanted one. I just think this is very funky. I feel like this could work stronger as a photo if I cropped the sides in and had it be like a long photo. It was just a unique thing that existed that I just wanted to capture. $3, you gain access to all the rolls of the month. $5, you get early access to this video, and you can access the whole archive of all the photos that have ever been shared in past months. $7, you get a 4x6 print of the most liked photo on Instagram. The important thing is when I do these video highlights for this, those likes don't count. You have to go to the image post on Instagram and like that photo for me to count that as what the print will be. And then a $10 tier, which is that and all the other stuff, plus what I think is the best photo of the month as a 4x6 print. 25% discount. And then there's a shop that has postcards, stickers, prints, and puzzles. That's available for you to buy in the store. Thanks for watching. The next video will be uploaded September 1st or the first week of September. Ko-fi members will get access to that early. Otherwise, you'll get another video like this in about 2 to 3 weeks. I hope you're having a good day. Bye-bye.